Top Boy actor Michael Ward charged with 2 counts of rape. Pretty shocking news on our side of things over here in the UK. It came out of nowhere, to be honest, because I didn't hear any rumblings about this. There weren't any leaks about this, nothing. It just came out of the blue completely that this guy that a lot of us know as Jamie from Top Boy and other things as well has unfortunately been charged with 2 counts of rape, and it's going to court. So he's been charged. He's not obviously not been convicted, but he's going to see his day in court and obviously try and fight it and see if he's not innocent. And of course, the person who's charging him with it is going to obviously hope that the verdict is guilty. In the UK, I did do a quick Google search, or no, I did do a quick ChatGPT query, and I did ask about how much evidence is needed actually to bring a case of rape to court here in the UK. And it's a bit easier than what it seems. So I know a lot of people were running with this idea that, if you get charged with rape in the UK, it means that there's a lot of evidence. It's not really true, according to ChatGPT. So maybe people should hold off on their conclusions that his life is over and he's definitely guilty, because you never know. It does say here, because I did type into ChatGPT how much evidence is needed to bring a rape case to court in the UK, and it says the threshold to be charged for rape in the UK, CPS charging standard, you have to have sufficient evidence. Is there sufficient realistic conviction based on evidence? And the evidence, the jury is more than likely that not to convict goes to trial if a lower standard and beyond reasonable doubt which is needed for conviction. So you need sufficient evidence, and sufficient evidence is very vague and open-ended. So it could just be someone's account, somebody's reversion of events, she said, he said. It could also be other things like rape kit. We haven't heard that, by the way. I've not heard any reports saying there's a rape kit ministers or anything, so I'm not too sure if that's the case. Maybe other people, witnesses and shit, can corroborate the story, whoever knows. The other reason standard for bringing the case to court involving rape in the UK is a public interest test. Is it in the public interest to prosecute? In rape cases, this test is almost always satisfied unless it's exceptional circumstances. So in this case, of course, it's within the public interest because this guy's a notable figure. He's famous here in the UK. So the understanding or the thinking behind it would be that you'd want to bring this to public, bring this to court, so that you can maybe, put other women out of harm's way who maybe would have come in harm's way if this wasn't made public and he was able to, quote unquote, continue his alleged crimes. So the evidence doesn't have to be overwhelming, just strong enough that the reasonable court jury might convict. So it doesn't have to be a lot, out of the blue or more than what it is. Just has to be enough for them to bring it to court. What kind of evidence can be considered? A compliance testimony, forensic evidence such as DNA or injuries, witnesses including those who saw the event, CCTV messages, calls on social media, and medical records or rape crisis support reports. In many cases, there's no physical evidence and there's one person's word against another, but CPS can still charge you if they believe the jury could convict. So this could be a he said, she said, or she said, he said. We don't know. I guess we have to wait until the story develops. Important notes: being charged is not the same as being convicted. False allegations are rare, but taken seriously. Malicious accusations can lead to prosecutions. Bail conditions may impose after being charged. So let's read the actual account. So that's why I quickly found out on ChatGPT that you don't need crazy amount of evidence to bring a rape case to court or to be charged for it. It can just be somebody saying, hey, this happened, and given their version of events, reported to the police, and that could be it. It could be somebody submitting a rape kit, witnesses, other bits and pieces, evidence, injuries, blah, 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 blah. So we have no idea what it is. We've just heard that he's got charged. Let's read the article here, courtesy of Sky News. It says Top Boy actor Michael Ward has been charged with 2 counts of rape and is due to appear in court next month. Ward 27 has also been charged with 2 counts of assault by penetration and 1 of sexual assault. I can't think of a worse line of a worse grouping of sentences ever. The only thing that'll be worse than this is being accused of diddling. That just sounds nuts, isn't it? 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of assault by penetration, 1 count of sexual assault. That just sounds like you're a monster. That sounds so demonic. That sounds so evil. Just so crazy. Like, that's something that you wouldn't wish that against your worst enemy. Like, that is horrendous to have that on your jacket, to have that on your name. Like, 2 counts of rape and 2 counts of assault by penetration and 1 of sexual assault. Like, Jesus Christ. The offense relate to one woman and are reported to have taken place in January 2023. Our specialist officers, the quote here says, continue to support the woman who has come forward. We know investigation of this nature can have significant impact on those who make reports, said Detective Superintendent Scott Ware, whose team is leading the Met Police investigation. That's obviously him, obviously Michael Ward, Jamie from Top Boy, looking all dapper and whatever else. Like, what is this, at the Cannes Film Festival? Probably wearing Burberry. By the way, no more Burberry for him, you'd imagine. No more fashion week for this kid, unfortunately, for the time being. It continues. Ward of Chestnut of Hertfordshire is due to appear on Thames Magistrate Court in 28th of August. Ward said he denies the charges of rape and sexual assault. In a statement, he said, I recognize the proceedings are now ongoing, and I have full faith that they will lead to my name being cleared. He's also deleted all his social media now. There's no social media of his available, so he's deleted all of that shit. He's just keeping his head down until, I guess, the trial is done. In a statement, Catherine Bacchus, the Deputy Chief Crown Prosecutor of the CPS London South, said, we remind all concerned that proceedings against the suspect are active and he has a right to a fair trial. Okay, one sec. Cool. It continues. It is vital that there should be no reporting, commentary, or sharing of information online which would in any way prejudice these proceedings. Kind of different from how they do in America. They're basically encouraging everyone to just keep quiet until the trial is concluded, so to make sure that the trial doesn't get fucked up and the jury isn't swayed by public opinion. Ward starred in popular Netflix series Top Boy as Jamie. He also appeared in films like Blue Story and Old Guard and Empire of Light. In 2020, the Jamaican-born star was awarded the BAFTA Rising Star Award in 2020. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in the BAFTAs in 2021 for his role in Franklin in the BBC series Small Axe, and in 2022 for his performances as Stephen in Empire of Light. Waters also in up-and-coming American film Edgington, alongside Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal, which is set to be released in the UK next month. Ah, damn. If you're Pedro Pascal or Joaquin Phoenix associated with that movie, or the director, you're probably pissed because you were probably hoping for maybe an Oscar run, some awards, right? Especially with this guy tied into it. But with this controversy hanging around your movie is basically dead on arrival, isn't it? It's dead on arrival, bro. Dead on arrival. Big up Ricky Pitcher. Go see that movie. The one he's in, yeah? Eddington. Cool. I'll check it out if you're saying it's good. I thought Eddington's good. He has more than 1 million followers on Instagram and participated in charity events like Soccer Aid, Match in Stamford Bridge. Ward gave a reading at the Christmas Eve carol service hosted by the Princess of Wales in 2023. So that's the current update on it, right? He's currently, charged, waiting for the trial to commence. Now, in this case, because there's been no rumors or rumblings this guy's a bad dude, it's completely different to the Young Philly. The Young Philly situation, a bunch of his friends, a bunch of old clips came out that made him look crazy, right? A bunch of his friends basically had said in the past as well in clips that, he was a bit of a thirsty dude. And a bunch of, clips came out that maybe demonstrated or gave credence to the idea that he could be a bit of a thirsty, grapey, rapey kind of guy. But I didn't really hear anything about this guy, Michael Ward. I'd never heard much about him on the timeline. Now, maybe I'm not the most plugged in person when it comes to that sort of news in the UK, but I do see a lot of, my fair share of things, pop up on the timeline. I don't think I've heard a lot of shit about him. But in the last couple of days, I have seen a couple of clips going viral, again, from other women or other content creators like fucking Bouncer and someone else I think that might have shared it, of this particular girl from a couple of years ago who said she gave an account that when she was at a party that she felt like she might have got spiked, and when she was really in a not the best shape, allegedly Jamie Michael Ward was trying to get her to come back to his hotel or whatever at a time when she was feeling maybe a bit more vulnerable. Another girl also said something similar, but I don't think they said that they felt like Michael Ward was the one that spiked them. I think in both instances they kind of gave the account as if like, oh, somebody within Michael Ward's entourage may have spiked them, but Michael Ward was trying to encourage people to get them in cars and shit to come back to the hotel, something on those kind of lines. So who knows if those stories are anecdotal, whatever, but those are the only stories I've heard about him and girls and shit. And London, again, England is a small country. London's an even smaller city. If this guy really was on rape time, I think we would have heard about it by now. So my instant gut feeling, gut reaction would be he probably didn't do it. But I would also love there to be a situation where, imagine if this was a situation where like it was a false accusation. Let's just say that to be the case, right? Wouldn't it be cool if this was a situation where we could actually hold everybody accountable for what led up to it in a way? Like if maybe wires were crossed and consent was given, but maybe it was a bit blurry because of drugs and the alcohol and shit. Could it be kind of cool if like, okay, cool, this wasn't rape in that sense because, you know, the evidence proves it different, but can we at least hold both parties accountable? One person for getting themselves too fucked up to that extent, the other person for maybe not basically doing the honorable gentleman thing and putting a girl in a cab and sending her home type of situation. Could that be a good way to kind of progress this sort of conversation? Because there's probably a gray area, especially when it comes to nightlife and people, you know, after dark, as my parents would always say, nothing fucking good happens. There's probably a really gray area when it comes to consent and, you know, all this. It's just odd. It's just a really strange place to kind of operate in, because I'm sure that some things happen in those type of scenes, those kind of club, after party, after gig, whatever situations, that the lines can get very blurred. Now, for me personally, I don't operate in blurred lines. I prefer my shit to be black and white. If like, I've never really gone, unless we were both really fucked up, I've never been in a situation where the person I'm trying to hook up with was belligerently drunk and I was still trying to go for it. For me, there's no honor in that. There's nothing to brag at. There's nothing you can really walk around with your chest puffed up like, oh yeah, fuck this girl, when the person was flat blackout drunk. I mean, the place I kind of grew up, the kind of classy thing to do, the gentleman thing, the kind of quote unquote swag thing to do, was to put someone in the cab and then text them and say, hey, I'll just put you in the cab, let me know when you wake up, boom, 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 and then go from there. That was a real suave thing to do back in the day, not to fucking be like trying to bring them back home or all that sort of nonsense. So, but then I also understand that some people didn't grow up that way. Some people grew up with, like, you know, every situation you have to make the most of it and get the most of it that you can out of it. So I can only imagine how fucking crazy that shit goes. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's one of those situations where we don't really know much about the details, nothing about the rape kit, nothing about what happened, circumstances behind it. Obviously it's gone to court, so there's some level of validity to the claim. So I guess we'll just wait and see how it plays out. But it is quite surprising news to see. I did also get the feeling that a lot of people were surprised, or that were not willing to believe the allegations because he's good looking, which I thought was really odd on both sides. You know, oh my god, how could he, man? Like, I saw people say, man, dick discipline is so important within the black community. It's like, I don't think dick discipline and rape are the same situations. Yes, there is probably a conversation needed to be had about guys who are maybe, you know, fucking randoms a bit too much and selling girls' dreams and all this kind of malarkey and being irresponsible and not taking precautions and shit, or wearing contraception, whatever, right? That could, or using contraception. That's another conversation. But I don't like this narrative or this kind of conversation that people are having online of like, oh, how could somebody that's quote unquote conventionally good looking rape? As if like that is important, as if that matters. You know, like it's just a very odd situation to get into, where like people just assume rape only has to happen one way, or somebody walking behind a woman in a dark alleyway with a hood up, you know, with some sort of sleeping thing, whatever substance on their fucking napkin and putting it. It doesn't happen that way. Do you know what I mean? Some situations are a little bit more complex, a little bit more nuanced, whatever, than that situation. And I would imagine these type of situations as well, it's not really about the looks, isn't it? It's about the control, the abuse, the mental aspect of it. You know, it's just a very heinous, evil act to do in the first place. It doesn't really matter if the guy or girl is conventionally good looking or not. It's just a horrible thing to do anyway to anybody, to subject them to. And I can only imagine how fucking painful and hurtful that sort of shit is. So let's hope, whatever the situation, that everyone involved gets a fair trial, they get heard, and we kind of get to the bottom of it and find out what won. But it was something that was somewhat surprising on the timeline, because I heard no rumors, no rumblings about it whatsoever. I'm not sure if that speaks to the level of celebrity he is or isn't, but there nothing leaked about this online ever. I didn't hear a single peep. So I'm curious to see how this plays out as the weeks go by and as the trial date comes closer and as we kind of find out more during the trial and shit. So let's see what happens. See what happens.